Hello, hi. Hi, I'm Terrell. My pronouns are they, them. Cool. So, I've been watching the polls anxiously because this man being voted back in is not just a detriment to all American people, but specifically for trans people as well. I identify as trans and non-binary, and I see what goes on with the heightened numbers of black trans women being killed. And for me, they need protection, and there's no protection if this man is voted back in. And as a black individual living in the UK, I've been experiencing racism for my whole life. I've been taught how to avoid it, how to deal with it, and those methods can no longer work for me or for anyone. Having to watch my grandparents, my parents, and myself and my younger siblings arguing over the same shit is getting tiring. Trump is an issue, point blank, period. He's a mess, and he needs to be removed. And that's just, it's as simple as that. We are just seeing history repeat itself in another form, because he's not the first president that has come in and made reckless decisions on American people's lives. He is just a part of that destructive puzzle, and we need to cut that short. We have to cut it short, because we see every day here in the UK the effects and the problems that come with dealing with a structure that does not care for all and only cares for some. We're in the middle of a pandemic, which means those who are already vulnerable are now extremely vulnerable. And myself, I had to do a lot of research into how elections are dealt with, and it's honestly a mess. I can't deal with it, it's too much. And we have to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in America. But I stand specifically and also with all black people, all people of color, all people who are vulnerable to this man's presidency. Indigenous peoples of America are suffering and have been suffering and they're going to continue to suffer if this man is left to his own devices. We have to understand that as people of color, we don't always get the benefit of picking someone nice and then we have the bad guy and the good guy. Sometimes both presidencies are not good for either. We're like picking the lesser of two evils at this point. But to vote this man back in is just a direct way of saying we don't care about what's happening to black people. We don't care about what's happening to working class people. We don't care about what's happening to Native people. We are not caring about what's happening to young children's lives. We have to be the vessels of change in order for change to happen. And it may not come straight away, but the change will come. And it starts with us standing up and fighting against racism, xenophobia, transphobia, homophobia, and anything that directly links to the inequalities in people's lives. And as allies, and I'm speaking directly to white allies, it's important for you to stand up for the people that need it most, and there's people of color, trans people, the LGBTQ community, there's people with disabilities, people with mental health issues. There's a lot of things out there, there's a lot of people out there that need us to stand up and show our support. We're watching the polls right now. It's an anxious thing, but we have to stand strong because it's unity that always fights hate, and it's that type of unity that's going to get us to a place of peace. But we have to understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint, so we've got to constantly keep the work up. That doesn't mean just posting a black tile and thinking everything's going to be okay. That means getting out there, actively speaking to people who are vulnerable, actively speaking out against injustices, because every injustice is linked to one another. Don't think because you're in another country that's not you're not involved. Everything that's happening to black people here is linked to what's happening to black people in the US. Everything that's happened to black people in the US is directly linked to what's happened to black people in the Caribbean, in South America, in Europe, in Africa. We have to fight against this kind of bullshit, because it's this kind of bullshit that's going to bring us down. Don't let history repeat itself. Don't let all that hard work that we have built for ourselves thus far fall because of bullshit like this. So Trump, bye, you're done, you're trash, I don't like you, boo, done. Thank you guys.